Hello and welcome to TVB News. The People's Liberation Army's Navy vessels Nanning and Hengyang arrive in Hong Kong to begin a 5-day port call to the city. Chief Executive John Lee says the event will help the public to gain a vivid understanding of the nation's military and technological development. Alina Wang has more.
The fleet consists of guided missile destroyer Nanning and guided missile frigate Hengyang. Sails into Victoria Harbour this morning, escorted by vessels from the People's Liberation Army Hong Kong garrison. Soldiers wave to the shore as vessels moors at Nong Shun Chao Barracks. Chief Executive John Lee delivers a welcoming address at the welcoming ceremony. Lee says the display of defense innovation reaffirms the stability of China's national security and the prosperity of Hong Kong. Many residents gather along Victoria Harbour to catch a glimpse of the vessels. Over 100 local students and representatives had been invited to attend the ceremony.
So this is my second time to being in the ceremony, so I'm really proud of my country.
It's unforgettable for me because it's the first time for me to see such a beautiful worship.
The officials and representatives board the naval vessels for a tour. The PLA Hong Kong garrison is offering 14,000 free tickets for this event. Residents can get them through the official WeChat account. Alina Wang, TVB News.
The Center for Health Protection expects a surge in flu cases in the coming weeks as the city has entered into a summer flu season. This as health authorities also note a rising trend of COVID infections. Timothy Lee has more.
In its latest report on Hong Kong's respiratory diseases situation, the CHP recorded an influenza positive rate of 6.69% over the past week. Along with cases of hospitalization in public hospitals, both figures have already surpassed the baseline level. Some 60% of the infections consisted of influenza A. Last week, a total of 46 cases of influenza outbreak had been recorded in the city's schools or care homes, with 70% of them having taken place in schools. Health authorities note with Hong Kong entering into the summer flu season, flu activity is expected to rise significantly in the next few weeks. Dr. Albert Au, the head of the Department of Health's Communicable Disease Branch, stresses the effects of the summer flu season are usually less severe than that of its winter counterpart. But he emphasizes it is difficult to determine the length of the current season, adding influenza activity is expected to remain at high levels throughout August and September. Regarding serious cases, the city has recorded an additional 23 adult cases and another 2 involving children. This despite the children having already received seasonal flu vaccination. Dr. Au says immunity levels tend to gradually drop around half a year after the vaccination, adding that children should get the jab again in the subsequent year. The CHP highlights that vaccinated children and elderly people experience far lower rates of serious flu symptoms than those who did not receive the jab. Health authorities also remind residents an upward trajectory was noted in COVID and respiratory syncytial virus infections, and urges the community to wear masks when boarding public transport or in crowded areas. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
The Hong Kong Observatory issues the city's first standby signal number 1 of the year, which will remain in effect at least until noon on Friday. The forecaster says it will assess the need to hoist the number 3 strong wind signal tomorrow, depending on wind conditions. Many districts in Hong Kong sweltered today under the influence of the high-pressure subtropical ridge. Undeterred by the heat, some jogged along the Central Pier. Churning around the central South China Sea, the tropical cyclone has entered within 800 kilometers of Hong Kong and will gradually intensify, moving generally towards Hainan Island while maintaining a distance of 500 kilometers or more from Hong Kong.
With the tropical cyclone edging closer to the coast of southern China tomorrow, local winds offshore and on high ground are expected to strengthen. The weather will become unsettled gradually. There will be more squally showers.
The forecaster expects offshore winds in Hong Kong to reach force 6 tomorrow and Saturday and reminds the public to stay away from the shoreline. Due to an active southerly airstream, winds along the Guangdong coast will remain quite strong until early next week with occasional heavy showers. The mercury will see a slight dip. Meanwhile, in neighboring Macau, the number 1 typhoon signal is also expected to remain in force throughout the day. The enclave saw scorching heat in the morning. Winds are expected to gradually strengthen tomorrow with more frequent showers. Iranian Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Khalibaf says inspectors would not be granted access to nuclear sites damaged during last month's war. Qatari and Pakistani mediators conclude separate meetings with U.S. and Iranian negotiators, making positive progress on issues related to the Memorandum of Understanding. They also agree to continue discussions, host Qatar says. Daniel Rao tells us more.
Iranian Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Khalibaf says inspectors would not be granted access to nuclear sites damaged during last month's war. He says no matter what, access to sites that have been bombed and damaged cannot be granted. Khalibaf adds inspectors are currently permitted to visit only 2 sites, the Bushehr nuclear power plant and the Tehran research reactor, in line with decisions by Iran's Supreme National Security Council. His comments come as US and Iranian negotiators met separately on Wednesday with Qatari and Pakistani mediators, with positive progress made, and they agreed to continue discussions, host Qatar says. US Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, US President Donald Trump's son-in-law, are in Qatar for talks seeking a permanent end to the war, along with Iran's top negotiator Kazem Garibabadi. Negotiators aim to nail down specifics to pave the way for top leaders to seal an agreement, though differences over the Strait of Hormuz and Lebanon loom large. A ship ran aground in the strait while using a route not approved by Iran, state television in Tehran reported Wednesday. The vessel was identified as a foreign container ship with no other details. The report appeared aimed at underlining Tehran's claims to control the strait, which the world has long considered an international waterway. A fifth of all oil and natural gas in the world passed through it in peacetime. Since the US and Israel launched the war against Iran on February 28th, Iran has used its ability to choke off the waterway as a key source of leverage, disrupting global markets for energy and other critical goods. Iran and the US agree as part of an interim deal to allow ships to pass without paying charges for 60 days. But Tehran insists it must control the routes of the vessels and later charge fees for passage, upending decades of practice in the waterway. The US and many Gulf Arab states say they won't agree to this. An effort by Oman and a UN agency to launch a new route near Oman's shore sparked attacks across the Middle East last weekend, highlighting the tensions. Dan Arel, TVB News.
Welcome back. The death toll from the 2 powerful earthquakes that struck Venezuela in June mounts to close to 2,300, while the number of injured climbs to more than 11,000. Venezuelan National Assembly President Jorge Rodriguez says at least 12,800 continue to be affected and 6,400 rescued by domestic and international efforts. Thousands of displaced Venezuelans are sleeping in crowded shelters or outside without access to clean water amid dismal sanitary conditions. Many thousands remain missing, adding ambiguity to the temblor's complete toll and leaving families in an agonizing limbo as they wait days by collapsed buildings, hoping for the bodies of their loved ones to surface. One non-governmental digital database where families can register missing loved ones showed over 40,600 people still unaccounted for as of Wednesday. U.S. President Donald Trump takes his maiden voyage on a new Air Force One worth $400 million that was gifted by Qatar. He took the retrofitted Boeing 747-800 to North Dakota to visit the newly built Theodore Roosevelt Presidential Library. There, he made a speech that further drives a partisan wedge, calling Democrats losers while addressing the latest birthright citizenship decision handed down by the Supreme Court. Gloria Feng has more.
Arriving at an air base in Maryland, U.S. President Donald Trump's motorcade rolls up next to the new Air Force One, a $400 million gift from Qatar. Gone is the trademark light blue hull that helped Air Force One blend into the sky. Instead, the refurbished plane is painted in Trump's preferred colors, a navy blue belly with red and gold stripes. The president calls the jet a gift from a country that treated us very well.
So they just completed it. They made it appropriate for a president. That means the security and all of the different bells and whistles they put on. Very complex stuff, but it's really quite something. And this is a plane that the United States of America should have. Our Air Force One was 35, 36 years old.
The compressed timetable to complete the retrofitting limited the modifications to the plane. Reports by the Associated Press suggest it is not equipped with at least some of the same missile detection and countermeasure systems as the outgoing Cold War-era jets. On his inaugural journey, Trump headed to North Dakota ahead of the official opening of the Roosevelt Presidential Library. In his remarks after touring the premise, he touts the achievements of the American people ahead of the 250th anniversary of the founding of the country, as he casts blame on Democrats, calling them a group of losers.
American courage won our independence. It liberated millions and millions from slavery, rescued billions from tyranny, and sustained American liberty for 2.5 centuries. And we're not going to lose it to this group of losers.
He also voices his displeasure at the recent Supreme Court ruling solidifying birthright citizenship, saying it was initially meant for babies of slaves.
But we'll take care of the birthright citizenship because that was not meant for rich people from other countries. It was a month after the Civil War ended that it went through. That's because it was meant for the babies of slaves. It wasn't meant for rich people from China.
Gloria Feng, TVB News.
President Donald Trump took in nearly $1.2 billion from his crypto businesses last year, a federal filing shows. Trump got more than $500 million from his World Liberty Financial business selling new crypto products, including governance tokens, while another crypto business took in more than $600 million from sales of meme coins. Trump says he's not involved in his finances and claims stock market gains boosted his fortune.
Well, I've made a lot of money before I became president, and they invest my money, and I don't talk to them. I don't even speak to them. So I have many people, I don't know what they call it, closed accounts or something. You put your money in, and that's it. I don't talk to them. They're big institutions, and they run it. But yeah, I've had a great career. In business, I've had a great career.
The 927-page disclosure form paints a stark, if incomplete, picture of the massive growth of the president's wealth since taking office last January through a web of business interests, many of which have benefited from the policy moves of Trump's own government. Trump rejects the conflict of interest protections his recent predecessors in office has instituted. Forbes estimates Trump's net worth at $6 billion, up from $2.3 billion in 2024. The rise of crypto relative to Trump's property is especially noteworthy because he first rode to office boasting of his property wins. It's also remarkable because that mainstay business also boomed last year. Trump took in tens of millions in fees from a flurry of new hotel, resort, and condo deals overseas that amounts to the biggest property expansion ever in a century since the family business was founded. Many of those countries were negotiating with the U.S. over tariffs, military aid, and other important matters while the family business was striking the deals. 4 men have been arrested in connection with the death of a 33-year-old man who was found dead in a Mong Kok flat yesterday. The flat was reportedly hosting a drug party. Police arrested 2 men on Wednesday after the incident and later rounded up 2 more suspects on Thursday for alleged drug trafficking and consumption. On Wednesday afternoon, officers received a report that a man was assaulted and lost consciousness at a unit on Tommy Road. At the scene, police found a 33-year-old man lying naked on the floor. The man was sent to Kwong Wah Hospital where he was pronounced dead. Reportedly, the flat was in a disarray with various suspected drugs seized. They include ketamine, cannabis, methamphetamine, and Viagra. Investigations revealed the deceased and the 4 arrested men had met through a dating app for homosexual partners and were not closely acquainted. One of the arrested men resides in that flat and reportedly hosts drug-fueled group sex parties from time to time. On Wednesday morning, the 5 men took part in a party there. During the gathering, the deceased reportedly became emotionally agitated and assaulted others. While the flat owner stayed, the three men later left the unit, claiming the victim was conscious at the time. Initial findings show no fatal injuries or fractures on the deceased. The cause of death is still under investigation. A similar case occurred in 2023 involving a fatal incident after a drug-fueled sex party. A postgraduate student from the mainland attended a sex party with 5 other men in a rural area of Fanling via a gay dating app. He later died, reportedly after being injected with methamphetamine. Others at the scene dragged the body of the deceased out of the unit to an open area. 3 men were apprehended and charged with manslaughter and illegal handling of a corpse. Lawmaker William Wong is reportedly expected to face an internal investigation at the Legislative Council over alleged drunk driving. This as he failed to report his arrest to LegCo, which violated the legislature's code of conduct. The 66-year-old lawmaker is also the Associate Dean of Engineering at the Chinese University of Hong Kong. He was apprehended Monday night after a crash on campus. 2 South Korean men have been arrested in Chimsha-choi for attempting to cash a suspected fake check worth over $30 million. The incident occurred shortly before 11 a.m. at an HSBC branch at 82 Nathan Road. Staff reported that 2 foreign men attempted to deposit the alleged forged check into an account. Police arrested the pair after preliminary investigation. The government plans to build an offshore pedestrian walkway at a popular photo spot on New Praia, Kennedy Town, allowing residents and tourists to safely enjoy Victoria Harbour. The project is expected to be completed by mid-2031. This location on New Praia, Kennedy Town, has panoramic views of Victoria Harbour, attracting many residents and tourists to take photos. But its popularity has resulted in pedestrians and vehicles competing for road space, posing a safety risk. The government plans to build a 10-meter-wide, wave-shaped offshore pedestrian walkway modeled after the East Coast Park Precinct. Some tourists welcomed the idea. The Civil Engineering and Development Department said the project will adopt a new and old integration concept, providing ample space for the public to walk and jog. Vincent Ho, chairman of the Harbourfront Commission, hopes authorities will not use the traditional practice of enclosing the construction site with hoardings. The authorities will consult the Central and Western District Council on the project next week. And that's the news. Thank you for watching.